Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Zed for me. 7 years ago, I posted a video of me making my VR racing sim rig. It was a fun project while I was going through medical school, and because I had no money at the time, it was a do-it-yourself project that involved using an old workout bench and converting it into a sim rig. I used a seat out of my old Miata and had a basic Logitech G920 setup. It was a blast, but now my racing simulator has evolved. Actually, by quite a bit. This is my current racing simulator setup. It's a not so modest build, definitely not top of the line, but has everything I need and then some to enjoy hours of sim racing. Technology has evolved a lot over the years, and the realism now is next level. I do have the ability to race in VR with the MetaQuest 3, but I find myself enjoying the experience more with this 49-inch ultra-wide curved monitor instead. The idea behind this simulator was to get me seat time in the colder months when I would not be able to track my car. My BMW Z4M Coupe is my main track car, and if there's any interest, I can definitely do a video going over that car. Ultimately, my goal with this build was not to replicate that, but just to have some fun doing sim racing with Assetto Corsa and driving some F1 circuits as I watch the season progress. I will go over the parts I used to make this simulator rig, and I'll also talk about some of the future upgrades I have planned after using this setup for almost a year. The simulator is built on a Simlab GT1 Cockpit, which I bought from Micro Center. When I started this project, I knew I wanted to incorporate motion, so I found a cockpit which uses 80/20 aluminum to make it modular and upgradable. The pedals and wheels are from Moza, and this is a Moza R9 with a Moza KS wheel, and the pedals are the CRP version. More than anything, the pedal and wheel set were probably the biggest upgrades over my last setup. The sim is powered by an Alienware Aurora R16. It's got a 4080 GPU in it, and it has more than enough for anything that I do. It powers a Samsung OLED 49-inch ultra-wide, and this thing really is amazing. I originally had a 34-inch LG ultra-wide on this rig, but when Christmas came, I got this for myself, and the added peripheral immersion was highly welcome. I find this setup better than trying to race in VR. Even though the immersion is higher in VR, I found it harder to get good lap times consistently. So the best and worst part of my sim rig now is the seat. It's the passenger seat out of my track car. It's a Sparco Carbon RS DTM seat, built for 6-point harnesses and is extremely good for a track car. However, on a sim rig, it's hard to be comfortable for more than an hour. I think this will be the next thing to go, and I'll be using a cheaper but comfier seat with reclining ability. On a track car, this seat can't be beat, but I definitely don't need this level of snugness in a sim racing setup. The entire cockpit has 3 degrees of freedom due to the eRacing Lab Mega 4 RS. When I was researching motion, I found that the D-Box was the highest rated, but it was also almost 5 figures on its own. The system required a bit more setup, but once I actually figured out how to get everything all set up, it's pretty much been plug and play. So the system contains 4 actuators, one on each corner of the sim rig, and it's powered by something called a Thanos controller. From what I understand, it's not going to help me get better lap times because professional sim racers don't actually use these kinds of systems. But for the casual sim racer like me, the immersion is really nice, and it certainly adds a load of fun to the whole driving experience. It's also a great crowd pleaser and can be used for other things, like when my son wants to ride roller coasters in VR. It's really nice watching him experience the roller coaster, with the actual motions. Some peripherals that I have include this Logitech mouse and keyboard combo. I have these 3D printed mounts that basically allow it to sit here as I'm racing. And additionally, I run these Bluetooth headphones so that I'm not bothering anybody else while I'm playing. The only sounds that you hear from this simulator while I'm racing are the actuators going up and down. Additionally, there is a 7-speed manual transmission. Oftentimes I am racing with games that don't really require the manual, but certainly when other people try and they want to play with this simulator, it's nice to have this. So this is a basic generic USB H pattern shifter. And then this is my main stop switch in case there's any issues with the motion going crazy. Luckily, I've never had to actually use this button before. It's just there at this point almost as decoration and as a backup just in case. When I want to swap out wheels, instead of using this Moza KS wheel, which is my main wheel for my simulator, I can also switch to a real wheel as well. Like this one is an Energy and uses this quick release so that I can easily swap out wheels when I need to. So that's basically my not so modest racing simulator that I built in the last year. I'm incredibly grateful to be able to build something like this. I think the entire setup cost me quite a bit more than I had expected. The most expensive parts of this build was the motion setup as well as the desktop computer. So if that's something that you don't need or you already have a computer that can run the simulator, then you'll save yourself a lot of money. The seat was also extremely expensive because it came out of my track car. And although it didn't come out of my pocket, it definitely cost a lot of money. I fear to actually look at the totals and add it up, but the expenses are somewhere in the neighborhood of just under $10,000. I saved a bit by waiting for sales on certain parts, and the seat was free. And so to me, it's worth every penny as it gives me seat time without physically going to a track. And I can definitely tell you that bringing your car to an actual track costs a lot more money than any simulator would. For me also, on top of that, the nearest tracks to me are all like 6-hour round trips, 3 hours each way. So the cost of this rig really pales in comparison to what I spend on a track day in my BMW. I definitely love bringing my car to the track and racing there, but this simulator just really adds another level of enjoyment of something I can do from the comfort of my own home. And so to me, the investment was definitely worth it. So I hope you enjoyed watching my video on my simulator rig setup. If you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comments below. Hope you guys have a nice day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.